Right. Today is Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. Special City Commission meeting. Call to order. And
Roll call.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Joseph.
Here.
Commissioner Syverson.
Here.
Commissioner Vizcarra.
Here.
Vice Mayor Lama.
Here.
And for the record, Mayor Svechin is absent. So we have a quorum, sir.
Okay. So, Leah, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? You're a special guest.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And then read the resolution, please.
Yes. So today we have an item on the agenda. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second, Commissioner. It's a resolution awarding invitation to bid number 250101 to Waypoint Contracting for construction of the City Annex building.
Okay. Would you like to present? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor, members of the commission, thank you for making yourself available. I asked to have this meeting as soon as possible so as not to affect our pending business agreements. The purpose of the meeting is to approve the agenda item with Waypoint Construction based on a bid to build out the annex space. This is not a debate on whether or not it should be a building department. You have already provided direction to us and stated that it should be office space in conjunction with a restaurant. Ultimately, as always is the case, it is your decision and direction that guides us. You tasked me with making the building department more efficient and effective. We are currently reviewing approximately 600 plus more permits per year as compared to 10 years ago. We're at a critical break point for the future in the building department. From a business perspective, should you not approve this item, we would lose our investment of almost $200,000 in addition to numerous meetings with vendors, architects, engineers, and a best practice approach to accomplish your goal. This includes numerous bids by our procurement department. We further risk losing almost $168,000, if not more, in yearly revenue from our lease with Crema. What is before you today is a contract to build out the space with Waypoint Construction. I provided you with backup at the last meeting, and now I have provided you with significant backup of the backup for your further review. This includes numerous public meetings where I updated you on the process and requested your approval, including a discussion item as recent as February to show you the final plan. As far as the budget is concerned, it was estimated during our last budget cycle last year, the estimated cost was approximately $2 million. As you know, since that time, the cost of construction has doubled in many cases. Therefore, we brought to you last month a budget amendment, which was approved in second reading, to adjust the amount of the construction to $3.7 million with a small contingency. And this is based on bids that we received ranging from $3 million to as high as $9 million for the construction of the space. So we believe Waypoint is the best, most responsible bidder. Regarding the library, they indicated that the space is smaller than they currently occupy. Their preference is to own the space and that they would not pay for any move. This past week, we have expended a significant amount of staff time and money on this item, including answering voluminous public records requests, and experienced significant pushback on this one item in particular. Prior proposals, if you recall, included frantic attempts at one breakfast place in particular and a nightclub-type atmosphere with dancing and late-night hours near our library and government facility. You correctly rejected those bids to protect our residents. The item before you is very simple. It's a contract with Waypoint based on a public bid to build out the space at the Annex, period. We'll follow your direction, and if you decide, we will find another solution for our current space problem. Thank you.
Okay. Any public comment, or do we have any comment that we received via email?
No, no public comment. But I'd just like to clarify for the record, Vice Mayor, that the mayor's unattendance is due to an illness. Just to be clear.
All right. Is she on via telephone?
Not on the telephone, no. She's watching online.
No, she's absent, 100%, okay. Okay, so no public comment, then I'll open it up for debate among the commission. Who would like to go first?
I'm perfectly fine moving forward.
You're okay moving forward? Okay. Anybody else would like to comment or have any questions for staff?
I have a question.
Okay.
My question to the city manager is, when was it that we knew that the library lease was coming due? Because that was never mentioned to the commission.
We started negotiations with the library within the past month. It was a long-term lease that had been approved by prior administration. So we're currently in negotiations with them, but the first time I had a conversation with them was about 2 weeks ago.
Right. But when we first began discussion regarding Tony Roma's and moving the building department into that space, your office was aware that the library lease was coming due within the period that we would be discussing construction in that area, correct?
No, we expected to do this project some time ago. We put it out to bid, but we kept rejecting the bidders until we finally got a viable space.
Right. But even within a year of the commission having to make decisions, it was within that time frame that the library lease might be coming up.
The library lease is coming up, yes.
Yes, but we could have known a year ago that the library lease was in play in order to have it affect our decision regarding the building department, correct?
I wasn't aware that any of you were interested in moving or eliminating the library.
Well, doesn't it make more sense to have the building department housed in one building itself?
That's for you all to decide.
Thank you.
May I add to that? May I respond to that?
Sure.
Yes.
So part of the direction, my position was always that I wanted to keep the Tony Roma's building. I never cared if it was a restaurant or whatever it was, as long as it was income generating. It's a good piece of property, and it was income generating. And that was the direction that was given. I can't tell you when, but the general direction was that we always wanted to keep some kind of income generating component to it. Vice Mayor Lama was like, oh, let's make it office space. And then we ultimately came to that compromise position of having a piece that was income generating and having the other part that was the building department. The library does not meet that criteria. And so I would imagine, I don't want to speak for you, but I read your memo, if the library is not going to be an income generating piece, and quite to the contrary, they want us to give them the space or the land even, then I understand why it wasn't brought to our attention, because it didn't meet the criteria. It really wasn't part of the conversation. So now we have a nice, crema, I can't say it's nice yet because it doesn't exist yet, but it's going to be a nice thing. Plus, we're meeting our space issues that we have with the third floor, and the direction that we gave to go one department at a time, right? The first one was the police department, which was in trouble, and it's been cleaned up very nicely. And we recognize that the building department had its issues, and space being one of them, and we want to move towards credentialing. We've had long meetings about that here. I remember one of the workshops was going through incredible detail about that. So I'm not shocked that the library is not part of it, because we had been pretty clear about what we did want there. So, and it's not going to generate any income.
Well, it's not income generated. The money comes from the residents. They have to pay for the building department, everything that is there. So that anyone who wants to change a toilet or he wants to change the kitchen, they have to pay now for a state-of-the-art building department, which is very funny because the process is supposed to be digital. So who are we benefiting? Who's going to sit down there? Me as a resident, I'd rather stand up waiting than sit down in a very comfortable $1,000 chair if I'm going to pay $100 fee instead of a $1,000 fee. So we are doing a disservice to the residents. We are going against the trend in the whole federal government, in the whole United States. We are increasing the side of government. We are increasing the bureaucracy. And who has to foot the bill? The residents. This is not going to be paid by whoever is visiting. So it's very interesting of the words about best practices, because best practice is a very big word that doesn't mean at the end of the day nothing. It depends on whatever we consider best practices. It's interesting that we're talking about revenue when we had a restaurant that wanted to spend $3.5 million back in 2022 to build the Tony Romas, and they were calculating that they were going to be giving us to the city around $500,000 a year. So yeah, we lost $500,000 in 2023, $500,000 in 2024, and moving forward. So I don't think the revenue was moving this decision. Also, right now, as far as I know, we are building an annex on the north side of this building to try to accommodate and give more space to the building department. And like I said, we are going against the trend even locally, because why don't we go and visit the building department in Aventura, for example? Why? Because they don't have one, because they're outsourcing it. Why don't you guys go and visit the one in the Indian Creek? You'll be surprised. It's no more than a room in a house, almost. And it's very nice, by the way, but I've been there. So, and again, we are so proud of being fully digital. And now we are giving a state-of-the-art, like a prime location to build just to increase the size of government. This is going to be the legacy of this commission. The commission that stole Tony Romas from the people, the commission who stole a restaurant from the residents of Sunny Isles to increase bureaucracy. So the damage that we are going to we will be doing to the residents if this move forward is going to be generational. Not that it cannot be fixed. Anything can be fixed other than death, clearly. But I will never be part of this. We got to this point by being manipulated because I voted against the restaurant that bid back in 2022 with the very specific mandate and direction. So, and I do believe that we're still here to give direction to the staff, not to receive orders and then to clean up for them. So the direction was very specific. Those were apparently, even though that we never had it in front of us, they said that those two bids were now convenient for our city. Again, we never were able to see those bids, but we rejected them because they were going to come back to us as the full restaurant. And again, we can find solutions for the building department. We want to make sure that every permit is going to be processed in a timely manner and that they're going to be comfortable and everybody's going to have the space they need to do their job. But putting them, like I said, in a prime location in front of the beach doesn't make any sense. I'm so sorry.
I'd like to respond to that, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I've had the opportunity to review the record, including the videos of the meetings that we've done. Okay, I just now in my office, I just finished watching the one where we rejected the bids. Okay, it was a 4-1 vote. 4 of us rejected the bids. You voted against it. So what you just stated is wrong. That's number one. Number two, last meeting, you gave us these papers, right? In that meeting, you said we didn't honor a resolution that it clearly says that we gave the direction to go back out to bid, right? You highlighted, you said it's big in yellow, you highlighted this for us, and you continue to say that. And you even gave us this version here, right? So this is also wrong, because if you look at the packet that was provided, and you look at what was executed, which was Resolution 3446, which is in the packet, number 2 there says, the city manager is hereby authorized to do all things necessary to effectuate this resolution. Not what you told us, which is go out to bid. Why? Because this was amended during the meeting. We never gave that direction. Never. We were very clear that we were not going to go out to bid. 4 people, and we had long discussion about it, 4 people sat up here, including Mayor Goldman, saying, going out to bid is not the right thing to do. It's in the video. Just watch the video. Okay, so this is wrong.
Well,
And what you just said that you voted to reject is wrong.
Well, you
And
said
I don't
voted to
appreciate, and I'm still speaking, and I don't appreciate being, again, using the language that this is the commission that's stealing anything. It is that language that prompted this kind of work, which I appreciate because now we have the whole story. I don't appreciate that, and I don't appreciate that manipulation. If anything, being shown the wrong documents and telling it what it is, I would consider that manipulation. But I will give you the benefit of the doubt that you made a mistake, and I'll give you the opportunity to correct it.
I don't need to correct anything because I
Okay.
made no mistake. It's not
That
debate.
this is not a mistake telling us that we
I have the
voted?
floor
Hold
now.
on, hold
Okay,
on.
I have the floor
So-
now.
That's
hold
fair.
on.
I have the floor
Hold
now.
on,
good.
hold on,
I
everybody
didn't
stop.
interrupt.
Are you finished?
I'm done.
Okay. You may
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay. So like I said, and I'm proud that I voted for it back then, okay? But Section 2, and I saw it there, says that it was going to come back to bid. So,
Until we amended it.
okay, continue interrupting me. That's very good. The point is that, yes, we are stealing the building from the people. Yes, this commission, whoever vote for it, which I won't. And that's going to be the legacy, because everybody remember what is Tony Roma's. And now it's going to be no more Tony Roma. It's going to be your building department. So I'm not for it. I don't want to see anyone overpaying because we want to have big windows in front of the beach for a virtual, fully digital building department. This is a disservice to the people. Whoever talked to anyone outside of this building that live in Sunny Arts, that pay taxes, that goes to the building department and needs to change a toilet or whatever, they will tell you they'd rather do anything to pay less for those fees. We are going to have to, all the expenses that are going to be created there, we have to pay here a resident with the fees that they're going to be charging. So I don't believe that being in the basement or being on the rooftop is going to be the same fee that we're going to have to be charging. So again, this doesn't make any sense. This is a disservice to the people. From the very beginning that I've been sitting down here, it was always the direction to continue being a restaurant. You guys drag the fee to make it longer and longer until probably you had the votes to make sure that you can continue having it as a office space. So I'm not going to be part of this.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I just want to bring up something that no one is discussing. First of all, I'd like to know how much rent do we get from the library each year?
$1.
Good, okay. So we need to tell the library they need to move out, and they can consider building on the Alamo property next door in order to help us out with that issue we have with the Alamo property. We will then take over this building for the construction of the building department to revise the entire downstairs, including the meeting room, and have our building department on the first floor. The police department can then expand upstairs if they need to.
My preliminary discussions with the library yielded that they did not have any intention of moving.
Well,
So
who owns
if-
this building?
We do. If it's your direction for us to not renew with the library, then you all need to give me that direction.
That I vote to not renew with the library.
It's a,
and to
Well,
start
we're not
That's not-
voting on that, Jerry. That's not, we're voting whether we want to approve the contract with this contractor to build out the space for Tony Romas to house the building department and Crema.
So all of my votes regarding moving the building department were made with not full disclosure regarding the library and the lease on the library and when it was to expire, because I would have absolutely considered that in my vote. So I consider all of those votes to be null and void.
Okay.
Because they were made with not full information.
Okay. Well, you could vote, I mean, you could vote either yes or no in this vote, and then we could see where it goes from there. But obviously, going back to what we're voting on whether we want to approve the build-out, right? The contract, so it could get built out, yeah. I just don't want us to go on off, and I know that they're related, but, you know, those tangents obviously are going to influence on your vote. And I'm just saying that, you know, for the purpose of time and discussion, I think we all know where
Well,
each of you stand.
Let me just say, all of
Yeah,
the buildings that we've built in Sunny Isles are all flawed, every building. I don't know if we're not choosing the right contractors or something, but Gateway has tremendous issues.
well,
We know
that's
that.
The
The
discussion
okay,
issue, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
but it's all included
Mhm.
in, you know, moving forward. And I mean, we haven't built anything since I've been on the commission, but we certainly, one of my priorities is to watch that we don't
Well,
make the same errors that
think-
we have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I'll entertain the discussion, but I think that, you know, obviously, because whatever's happened before, I'll use Gateway as an example, doesn't mean we're not gonna have to build again. Like, it's not gonna impede us from building. We just gotta make sure that it's done correctly and supervised correctly.
Exactly.
But going back to this vote, you know, I don't know if there's any more questions that we have for staff or any more discussions. Would you like to add anything, Jennifer, or you, Fabiola?
Well, to Jerry's
Yeah.
point about the library, yeah, we can tell them that they can continue being there, and we give them a third of the space, so they can accommodate themselves. There is a lot of waste of space there. Actually, the whole first floor is a waste of space in this building. It needs to be redesigned. And if we are so tight in the second, third, or fourth floor, well, guess what? There is how many people sitting down in the first floor? 2 or 3? So we need to reconsider the first floor, redesign it, and make sure that and you can hire this waypoint for that if you want to. I don't care. But the point is that if like you said, it belongs to us and we are giving it for free, we should have some set of how is it going to be used. So, okay, let's continue having them there, open another door for them, and give them right now a third of the space. There is, I don't know if you guys know, but there is even a conference room inside of the library that you can request it to use if you want to. That is always empty completely, and there is just waste of a space. So if we want to, again, from the city manager's words, if we want to be effective and efficient, we should be doing that to begin with our negotiations with the money. So I'm in favor of sitting down and squeezing the library about what is it that is convenient for our residents, not about what they want.
So, all right, is then everybody finished?
Vice Mayor, may I just add?
Yeah.
If there is a consideration, and this is not really a topic for today, I just want everyone to be aware, the library will not fund building anything. They also indicated that they don't have enough space now, which is why they're using the first floor meeting room, which was why the Tony Roma site wasn't great for them. They would need an addition because they need more space to be able to have the programming room over there. They already use also this commission chambers once a month, which is over capacity. So cutting their space in a renewal would not, I do not believe they would be agreeable to that.
Okay.
From our initial discussions.
Yeah.
And I think cutting the space would be a disservice to the community. I mean, the library is used a lot. Our kids come after school. There's activities there. We've had lots of discussions about the activities that go on in the library. Vice Mayor, last month you spoke about why you would prefer to keep it where it is. There's the safety component. And, I think it's funny that we talk about creating a restaurant as giving something back to the people. That's a funny thing. I think giving a department that services the entire city, that's something, giving something to the people. And keeping the restaurant also keeps the revenue component. But we're not, we talk about business and business decisions, but we're still a municipality. We have to consider the needs and the resources for everyone. It's not just a bottom line conversation. So 1/3 of the space, I think we're risking just losing not having a library in Sunny Isles at all. I don't want to be the commission that ran the library out of town. So it's working, it's fine, we have a plan. I don't understand the issue, honestly, but okay, I'm good.
Go ahead, Jerry.
So I'd like to say, everyone has been to the library in Aventura? Tremendous
Yes.
library.
Vice Mayor, I'm sorry, could I interrupt very quickly?
Yeah.
We need to stay on topic because the library is not part of this
Okay,
discussion. It could
understood.
be brought forward as a discussion item if you'd like in the future, but right now this item is for this agreement.
Okay.
Well, but it's
Understood.
absolutely, the library,
So
I'd like to disagree,
Let him just finish his thought
because
and then
the library
We'll
is
go back to
absolutely a
point.
part of this discussion regarding the building department and revitalizing the downstairs in this building.
Yeah.
So I believe that it is.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna, I have some questions for staff. Stan, so if you could please give us a little more detail. Obviously, we had allocated for the rebuild or the construction of the Tony Roma's buildings, we had allocated $2 million, right? We are now at a junction where you're asking for an additional 1.9, okay, for that rebuild. And I'd like to understand, how we got to that point. Why did we allocate $2 million, and now why are we looking at almost twice the cost? And I understand construction is expensive nowadays. I get that. But why the discrepancy, right? Did we not allocate correctly? I just want to be able to understand this and have this be clear to people listening and for the residents and for the record.
Thank you. So our projections were 2 million based on a general plan of building out the space. We have had a significant increase in the cost of construction for every project that we do. In many cases, construction prices have almost doubled. So our preliminary projection was based on general purpose use of the space and what we thought. Then, when we went in and actually designed it, where we were able to prepare a plan and bring that to you for approval, and then put it out to bid, the numbers came in substantially higher. Once we realized that the numbers were going to be higher than the projection, we brought to you a budget amendment explaining that we felt like, based on the actual numbers, it's going to be a 3.7 versus a $2 million project. So we brought that to you for budget approval, which we received last month to amend the budget. But the costs for everything have gone up. It's so significant that next month, or it's this month actually, we're going to be bringing to you a request to purchase vehicles now for the next budget cycle, because there's a projection based on tariffs and vehicle availability that we may not be able to purchase vehicles next year. So it's another point related to this project. If you delay it further, my concern is that the cost is going to go up even more.
Okay. And then, can you tell me the two bids that were rejected, what were the nature of those two restaurants or businesses? What were they looking to operate, and at what times?
One of them was essentially a breakfast type establishment that did not include dinner options.
What was the name of that? Was it Roasters and Toasters?
Excuse me, they never bid, actually, because they didn't make it in time. It was the only two restaurants that wanted to be open till 3 a.m. on Friday and Saturday night, have a party atmosphere component, dance floors, etc.
Okay. All right. Okay, and then I'll bring back the library. So the library absolutely said no. They're not amenable to moving. They won't even consider it.
They will. What they said is they would like for us to convey the property to them for free,
Yes.
so that they would not have to deal with a renewal of a lease every
So they
10,
want
15,
the
20
property
years.
straight out.
Correct.
That can't happen.
Correct.
Okay.
To serve the community.
Okay, okay. All right. Now, let me ask you a question. So, you know, using other cities as benchmarks, do you know how those library contracts are with, like, let's say Aventura or other cities? Do you know how much they pay? Is it the same type of deal with the public library system?
Yes.
It
So
is.
I had
It's
an
something standard.
I had an extensive
Okay.
conversation with the director,
All right.
and they, across the board, they do not pay rent. They pay for utilities only. They will assist in us applying for grants that may help cover the cost, but those are, $300,000 to $500,000. To build a new anything for them is going to cost significantly more than that. And it would be currently unfunded. It's not in your capital budget to do anything like that. Whereas building an annex out is approved in your capital project budget. And as it relates to next door, if we build anything next door on the north side, we have the same complications with that property as we had before. So
With the office space for
correct.
the developer.
So that build out would be tens of millions of dollars opposed to the 4.1
Yeah.
we're asking for.
Even if it's for a police department or a public library, we will have the same issue?
As of now, yes.
Okay.
There's been no, we have not found a way of reversing that.
Okay.
And I would just like to remind you all that it being an annex it being the building department, had already been voted on and approved by this commission.
No, I understand that. I just want to make sure that we have this conversation so everything is clear. And I myself, for my egotistical purposes, I clear out any questions, any lingering thoughts I may have. So I just want to understand everything
And
very well. Yeah.
If I may just add to that,
Yeah.
reversing that now would be a mistake it would mean that this commission wasted
No,
probably about $500,000.
I am aware of that. So, okay. Now, going back to the library, I've gotten comments from the residents that how come we have such a small library? And then they compare us to Aventura, and they actually think a library is not sufficient enough for Sunny Isles Beach. They want something bigger. They want something nicer. I'm glad that they were able to remodel it because before that, it just didn't look good, I think it was outdated. It looks a lot better now. I know I'm not on point, but I want to, since these issues were brought forward, I want to kind of give my thoughts on that as well, and some of the comments I've received from residents. Well, that my stance has been the same. Okay, I've always wanted the Tony Roma's building to be dedicated for office space. Whether it's a building department, whether it was the police department or whatever, I just don't see, we've had some bad experiences with being a landlord. And just going back to some of the history, the chronological history of our discussions, first it was going to be 100% a commercial restaurant place, okay? And along the way, we came to the decision or the conclusion that it was going to be split, right? We're going to have the building department there, and then we're also going to have some space dedicated to a restaurant or a cafe. That's what we actually called it. And I think it was all very clear here that, we had come to that conclusion. Okay, I don't think we're stealing anything from anybody. Okay, those are heavy words, and we got to be very careful with words. Okay, because people are going to misconstrue that. I think that everybody here in this commission is trying to honestly serve the residents the best they can, and obviously everybody has a different philosophy on what needs to be done. And I think, honestly, that everybody's very passionate about it and sincere about it. So I don't think anybody's stealing anything from the residents. In my opinion, I think that the building department needs to have their own space where they could work in a comfortable manner that will lead to more efficiency for them. They are in a tight space right now. If you go there, you clearly see it. And I've worked in environments like that, and it's very hard to work like that. It's very distracting, and it's uncomfortable. And the studies support that. The better spaces that you have, the more comfortable it is, the more efficient that the workers are. So with that being said, it's time to take a vote. Who would like to?
Not yet.
All right, go ahead, Jerry. But
Okay.
yeah.
So I would like to say that from my understanding, the library in Aventura is owned by the county. That's a county property.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I asked about cameras there and all, they said, oh no, that's the county, that's not Aventura.
Okay.
So in the same regard, in Sunny Isles, the county should have a library, not within our building.
They have no obligation to set up a library.
Okay, well, look what they did in Aventura. They built a
But they're-
tremendous
that's- well,
library.
You know what?
This is a non-issue.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fine.
let's move on from that.
Well,
but
we are where we
our
are.
reality
I
is
believe,
different. Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying, and I said it before, that my votes were previously made with not full disclosure from the city regarding the library lease. if I would have known the library lease was coming due, it's my intent to have the building department housed in one building, this building. The library does not offer us they don't pay rent, okay?
Understood, but let's
okay.
take a vote. I think that you're gonna be
We're
able
doing the
to.
county a favor, okay?
Well, I think,
There-
I think we need a library here. So, but
Well,
besides that,
Yeah,
Jerry,
so we need to be in negotiations with the county.
but those opinions right now, when we take a vote, they're gonna
Well,
crystallize with your
okay.
vote right now. So
My previous votes,
Yeah. Mhm.
as I said before, were without having full disclosure of the availability of the first floor in this
Okay,
building.
understood, but now the culmination of that is gonna be your vote, okay?
Well-
You vote now,
before
so
that,
let's- yeah,
just
go
one
ahead.
more question to the city attorney. Right, so that you're making an informed decision and you know what you're doing. Can you please explain the possible repercussions of not moving forward with this?
Well, you've already, as the deputy city manager said, you sort of put everything in motion. So you have existing contracts with your architects and everything else that you've expended money. With Crema, you have a lease agreement that has timelines set forth therein. So there's the loss of revenue, obviously, that you're going to have in the front end from the money you've already expended. And then you essentially would be in breach of your lease agreement, which would lead to terminations, so you're gonna lose all that. And I can't predict what Crema would do in that regard, whether they just walk away or they try anything else, but to the extent that they've expended any money, I don't know what their reaction would be, but certainly you would be in breach of your lease agreement.
So I would,
Vice Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
may I ask a question of the city attorney? I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. This item is to approve, this commission has already approved to build an annex and has already approved an agreement with Crema.
Right.
This item is to build that out.
Correct.
If we don't proceed and nothing else changes, we go back out to bid for another contractor to build it out, because we have not received direction from this commission to not proceed that way. So then we would have, if they wish to do something other than that, they would need to bring forth a resolution to halt the project.
Right, so the
reassess.
only, correct. So
And that would have to be approved by a majority vote.
Correct. So the things would have to come back, obviously. If you're going to change the direction, I mean, the only thing you're voting on today is this particular contract, yea or nay, whatever the repercussions are. To the extent that you want to change direction or do you provide any more instruction, that would have to come back to the commission in a separate vote that's properly noticed and everything else.
So does it make sense to defer it then? Is there any benefit to putting those two things together?
Well, that's up to you all. The deference is, again, we're under, and the deputy
Which
city
is why
manager
it's a
can speak
special
about it.
meeting. I mean, I understand we have time constraints, but
And the deputy city manager can speak more to that, but the more time I don't want to say waste, it's not wasted time, but the more time that we expend on this, the less time we have to do what we have to do under the lease. And that becomes critical, and then costs go up and everything else. So there's repercussions to that as to whether if you're going to reconsider the whole concept, then you're going to have to start back from scratch.
Yeah.
no, I don't want to reconsider. Obviously, I want to move forward. I'm being very clear about that, but I mean, we're opening ourselves up to lawsuits. We're opening ourselves up to another like $400,000, $500,000 loss just because we didn't know about a library that's not even that's not going to produce revenue anyway.
well,
I
okay.
mean,
So
it's,
I'll hold on. Let
I'm
me
sorry,
give
Alex,
some
go ahead.
comments. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt,
it's
but
okay.
during this whole period, since we started with this discussion, the question was, is it going to be the building department only? Is it going to be a restaurant only? And it was my understanding from all the discussions and the back and forth that we had reached a happy medium, that we're going to have the building department and we're going to have a cafe so we could monetize the property as well, right? We have some income. The only thing, okay, that I am a little bit, let's say that is bothering me a little bit is the cost of the build out, okay? Because obviously costs are going up, but I mean, it is, you know, it's almost double. So that is something that obviously I'm not happy about, okay? But anyhow, but regarding the building itself, and I know obviously we're voting whether we're gonna go ahead and approve this contract or not, but I thought we had reached a happy medium. You know, we had gone back and forth with the exception, I believe, of Fabiola. She did not want the, both of not the library. See, you got me saying library now. The building department and the restaurant there. I think she wanted 100% a restaurant there all of the time.
And that
She
was
never changed her
That
position.
was my feeling originally as well.
But hold on, let me finish. Yeah, that's been your position.
No, I will explain
Yeah,
my position.
yeah,
Finish.
but regardless, I'm just trying to go back and I'm just trying to shed some light that, in my opinion, we had come, with the exception of Fabiola, because I believe you voted for half and half, Jerry, we had come to the decision to have the building department and a restaurant there, or a cafe, rather. So now we're at a point where we have all these other things coming into play. We have the library, you know, we have other things. And you know what? We are kind of, you know, working on ifs, I believe. You know, we need to work based on concrete information. We don't know if the library is going to want to move there. Well, they want to move there if we give them the property, basically. And that's a no-no. I mean, no way. So, I mean, we need to take a look at the concrete information and make our decision based on that, not on what ifs. And that's where I'm at right now. And are we going to decide to move forward, yes or no? Now, there's other considerations. You're talking about a library, moving the library, et cetera, et cetera. Just keep in mind that if we go in another, let's say, direction, that's going to take time. We need to think about all of the consequences.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that for everybody here to think about all the consequences, we already have contracts in place. We could get sued. We could have to pay out money, et cetera, et cetera. So let's look at all of the information. Let's think back about all of our discussions, what we voted on, what we did not vote on, et cetera, and take all of that into account.
Okay, if
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Mhm.
So we had, it's true, we had these discussions for a while.
Yeah,
And the direction was changed on us because originally we voted to make it a restaurant. We voted, we had workshops. No, okay, but we.
Not me,
That's
yeah.
what I say,
Mhm.
we.
Yeah.
And I include when I vote yes or no for
The
something.
commission, yeah.
The commission, like, so we voted to make it a full restaurant, and that's what it went out to bid. So we have clear direction. So we put the money, we bid, we put our effort on that. Then it changed down the line. But so
I remember.
changing apparently is a constant here. So it's not actually, it's apparently the rule, okay?
But then, if I can add,
hold on,
No, let me
let her
finish,
finish,
and
let her
you-
finish,
yeah, let me
Jerry,
finish.
and then,
Okay.
So,
Jerry.
no, you continue.
Let her finish and then,
Now I know what is going to be my gift for you guys this year. It's going to be the art of the deal, because we
No,
need
thank
to
you.
learn to deal with the when we are making contracts and agreements. So, for example, talking about again the library, Jerry, I didn't know when it was the time frame when it's going to be do the contract, etc. But I do believe that that we do need a library. I really don't like the way it is right now. And we have a budget amendment almost in every meeting. So it is not about spending or not spending the money. It's about being smart the way we spend the money, and about benefiting and giving service to our people. Do we need a library here? I do believe so. Is it a good location? Yes. Does it service our community? Yes. So am I now happy to know that it's going to be a restaurant there in that location? Absolutely. So imagine, again, like I said in the meeting before, if we are the one that build a state-of-the-art library in front of the beach for our people, standing alone, etc. We make all the safe guards concerns, etc. So I am of the belief that we can have an amazing, beautiful library there, and if that's the only option that the county has, and then it's not going to cost them money because we had the money to spend on it. So I know we had tens of millions of dollars in capital improvement, okay? Remember, we had tens of millions only to build Heritage Park and make there a water park with a 4-floor building. So we had the money. It's not that we don't have the money. We just need to be smart how we are going to be spending the money for our people, for the benefit of our people, to service our residents. So again, you will be receiving the out of the deal from me. Okay.
All right, I think a building department serves the people better than a restaurant. I mean, that's, again, it's just a difference of opinion, but you want to talk about giving the space to the people. I think a working building department is better than bagels.
But hold on, may I?
Yes,
But then again, we're gonna have both there. I mean,
Right.
we're gonna be making some money, okay, and we're gonna have the building department there. And if you go to the building department now, I mean, you have 4 people in one office. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And you see them like sitting sideways against the wall that's on an angle, and like it's not conducive to being efficient there. That's my opinion, and that's my observation of that space right now. And we need to take a vote.
We're building the trailers here for them.
I'm sorry, can you repeat
We are
that?
building here in the north the trailers for the building department. Right now, and then what's going to happen with that,
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
No, but that's
let's
what the
talk about
first
something
floor,
that's going to
How much are
work
we spending on
permanently.
those
Yeah.
the first floor here for them is perfect, to have them in
It is
everything in the
It's
same
small.
building.
It's small,
the
but
whole
regardless,
thing-
okay. Let's do this. I mean, it's already almost 12:30. Let's take a vote, or I
Well,
mean,
Have
Go
a
ahead,
little more
Jerry.
discussion.
but let's
So, how much are we spending on those trailers that we're building for the building department?
I don't recall the exact amount.
Ballpark?
I don't have it, but you all did approve the purchase of that trailer. We don't rent it, we purchased it.
Right.
And it is not a long-term solution because you've got some of them up here and some of them down here. Customers can't go there, so they have to come over here to have a meeting with a customer. It is far from the height of living. It is a stopgap until we can find more room. And I would just like to add that if you change course now, you're going to have to incur more architect fees because now we're redesigning
Okay.
more
exactly.
stuff.
So I mean, I just ask that we consider all the possibilities and the consequences.
This is, okay, so I felt this on so many issues that when something may not be the correct way to go,
Mhm.
but because there are attempts to force us in a direction that might not be the right direction,
Okay.
and it's just, I have to take a stand against it.
That's
against
fine,
that.
Jerry. That's fine. I'm just telling you, consider all the consequences of
Yeah,
all
there
the
are
information. I'm just
consequences,
asking you
consequences
to
of
take all the
over,
information into
of
consideration.
paying and paying and paying for things as costs mount for something that wasn't right in the first place.
Commissioner?
Okay, but anyhow, so let's go ahead.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor, if I could just respond to that. Forced into,
Well, not,
wait,
okay.
may I?
Yeah, go ahead, Susan.
Administration has gone where you all have directed. There was a vote to proceed in this way. We have given you our best advice. We are being fiscally responsible. We do not want to waste money designing plans and wasting staff time on bids and everything else. That is not our intent, to force something on you. We took the direction that was given to us by a majority of this commission, and we proceeded accordingly. That incurred costs. Changing direction now will waste that money and incur more costs. But we, administration, we don't like wasting money, but if that is the direction of the commission.
Okay. But then, okay, so what I'm saying is, if we don't receive full information and are asked to make a decision, okay, I would have liked to have known, it would have changed my vote if I had known that the library lease was coming due in a certain amount of time while we were in discussions to move the building department.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
you
I'm
made that
saying.
clear. Yeah.
So I was misdirected,
Well,
okay,
I-
by the loss of that information.
Okay.
And it's occurred on a few other things as well.
Well, okay, so, but I mean, I think the discussions were very clear, I mean, in my opinion, and, you know, we came to where we are today, and,
But where we are
But
today,
regardless.
yes, okay.
okay, so,
I'm looking not to make another error.
okay, that's
That
fine,
the
that's
city
fine.
has made errors in construction in the past. I'm trying
So-
to have us not make another error.
Okay.
Originally, when we spoke about the restaurant at Tony Roma's, it was because Sunny Isles does not have a great evening draw,
But,
okay? Or
yeah,
nightlife for residents, okay? I've heard that.
there was something
so
behind
many
that.
So
yeah.
many residents write to me that Sunny Isles is basically a bedroom city. We shut down at night for
Okay, I think
residents.
we're getting off topic a little
No,
bit.
it's not off topic,
Yeah.
because this is the discussion we had when we were talking about making Tony Roma's a full restaurant. Now we have Aventura drawing residents away for the evenings, okay?
But Jerry,
Sunny
I
Isles-
don't think you could compare. I mean, they have a lot
Well,
more space.
I
They
understand
could build
that.
out,
Yes.
you know, these
Okay.
entire projects that are just 100%
understand.
restaurants. So
Vice
to go
Mayor?
back to, go ahead,
Sir.
Stan.
Just based on the discussion, my thinking is, if you would give me a little time, I can discuss a little further with the library
Mhm.
and chat with each of you on the intentions regarding the library. Maybe a deferral to the next meeting would be in order.
Okay. And what would you like?
May
Mhm.
I?
Yeah, go
If
ahead.
we defer, then this can come back next week. If we vote against it, then it cannot come back in 3 months. So I will not go for a deferral for this. This needs to stop.
Okay.
So I make the motion.
Make the motion to what? To defer?
No, do not defer, the vote.
Okay.
Is
So
anybody?
just to be clear,
Hold on,
Commissioner,
hold on, go ahead.
you're making a motion to approve the resolution because that's the way that it's written.
Okay, but I don't want to approve it, so I made
Just to clarify.
the motion to not approve the resolution.
But there's,
That's not on.
To not approve.
well, just be careful how you vote because it's going to get confusing because the resolution is to approve.
So let's do this, so.
So, hold on.
I'll-
And just let me be clear also,
Wait,
just,
Let's do it in order. Okay, let's do it in order. So I'll make the motion to defer.
Okay.
Is there a second? Jerry,
I'll,
sorry.
I need
I'll
to ask
second.
the
I
city
mean, we
manager a
deferred
question.
already one time. I mean, we could defer again and we need more time.
I would,
Vice Mayor,
Well,
I'm so sorry to
I
interrupt you. You
cannot- I
can,
cannot- yeah,
yes, you
sorry
can.
about that, yeah. But, okay, well.
To get more information on the library's position. I mean, I think I think it's reckless to vote no on this based on the library information that we don't have. So if you want to get more time to get the library information to make a proper vote, let's defer.
well, it depends what the discussion's going to be with the library.
Well, we don't know that. That's the point of the deferment.
and just for clarity, if it's a tie vote, it can't come back. It doesn't have to wait 3 months. If it's a tie vote.
If it's a tie vote, what, I'm sorry?
If it's a tie vote, it's status quo. It doesn't proceed forward, but it can come back at the next
Doesn't mean
meeting.
that motion fail? If it's a tie vote?
If it's a lack of a second, then it's different. If somebody moves and there's a lack of a second, then it fails. But tie votes are treated differently
May I
under
ask
your
a
code.
question? So when you say it could come back, can it come back for the commission meeting?
Yeah.
On the 17th?
If it's a tie vote.
If it's a tie
On
vote?
the deferment.
I think that's
No,
fair.
no, defer is a procedural matter, so that's,
On the, so
On
if
the
it's a
actual
tie
item
vote
itself.
on, hold on.
Let's, please,
I want to get clear, I want to be
Yes.
clear to see how we could proceed, right? So if it's a tie vote on voting to award the contract,
correct.
then it's not going to get approved, but it will come back on the 17th,
It
right?
can come back it can be the 17th, it could be
or
a
it could
subsequent
come back
meeting,
in-
right? There's
in-
no
in
limitation.
May, whatever.
Correct.
Whenever
That's
we want, right?
If it's a tie vote,
It could come back as soon as April 17th,
correct.
correct? Okay. What about if it's deferred?
Same.
Same thing. It could come back on April 17th?
It depends what you all defer to. I mean, that's up to you
Well,
all.
we could defer to have it come back on April 17th again?
That's up to you all.
Alex, I have
So
a
it's the same outcome, basically?
Alex, I have
If
a
it's,
question.
go ahead.
Okay, because I've been in the commission meeting for almost 10 years, as a resident or now sitting down here. As far as I ever seen since I've been here, when there is a tie vote, the motion
Fails.
fail or not.
It's in your code 7422 subsection I. It spells it right out. I can read it for you if you want.
please read it.
Please.
Yes.
Whenever action cannot be taken because the vote of the commissioners has resulted in a tie, the status quo shall continue in effect, and the proposed ordinance, resolution, or motion that produced the tie vote shall be removed from the agenda without prejudice to its reintroduction on a de novo basis at a subsequent meeting. A little different for quasi-judicial, but this isn't quasi-judicial.
Subsequent, meaning whenever we want, basically, right?
It doesn't specify. The only
Doesn't
time,
specify when.
the 3-month limitation deals with when the motion fails, if there's no motion or second.
Okay, so,
Or-
so we
so-
misled,
voted.
in the past we've been misled, because I heard specifically when it's a tie vote, the motion failed. So,
Well, it does fail, but it.
But it can
you're
be
not
brought back.
But it can be brought back. Obviously, it doesn't proceed forward
Okay.
because it's a tie
So
vote.
whether
okay, but when a
whether,
motion failed, it cannot be brought back in 3 months. So now it fails or doesn't fail.
No, it's not. It's what your code says. Your code is very clear that if it's a tie vote, and I don't know that we've had a tie vote in a while, that it can come back at a subsequent
we
Oh,
meeting.
that's
had a
the
tie
difference.
vote in a
That's
while.
the difference,
3,
Fabiola,
right.
because it's tied.
It's a
'Cause
tie vote.
No, I get it, because I had the same question. It's when it fails on a 3-2, it dies.
It fails.
But if it fails on a tie, it survives.
And it can also
Right?
fail
That's
if
what
there's.
you're saying.
Right, and it can
Okay.
also fail if there's a lack of a second. Right, so
Correct.
that's happened in the past
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
okay, so whether we vote to defer or we vote yay or nay, well, what we vote nay, it could come back on April 17th, basically. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So if we vote no on that today, let's say it's a tie, let's say it's a tie, right? On awarding the contract. It could come back on April 17th. And whether we vote, it's a tie on deferment, it'll come back April 17th.
No, the deferment doesn't come back. Deferment's a procedural motion. It gets resolved today. Either it's deferred or not.
But we'll defer it, we could defer it to whenever we want, right?
Right, but I'm saying your
There's no
vote to
motion,
defer.
that's a fail.
You're not going to defer your motion to defer.
No, I'm saying, but no, I'm sorry,
It
I'm
doesn't-
sorry.
it doesn't
No,
come back. You have
Let's
to
say the
resolve that
deferment
today.
I'm sorry, let's say the deferment passes,
Yes,
we could bring it back as soon as April 17th.
that's up to you all.
Okay, so it's basically, all right, okay, all right.
Well, okay, so I make
So
my
you made the motion
defer.
to defer, okay?
There's no second, but if you pass me the gavel, you can second. Okay,
yeah.
then it may fail.
It's
and then
theoretical.
they fail.
So now
The
can
gavel's
then we
theoretical.
move to, can I make a motion to pass the?
You can't make a motion because you're the chair. You'd have to
So-
pass the gavel
So
and,
deferment fails, right? Because they didn't second and you didn't want a second because you don't want to give me the imaginary gavel. So fine, I forgive you.
So
Okay,
can you?
so deferment fails, and so now I'll make the motion to approve the item.
Okay, so I'll second that motion
You
to.
can't. You'd have to pass the gavel to do that as
All
well.
right,
Give me the
okay,
gavel.
so here's the gavel.
Thank you.
All right. I approve the motion to.
Second.
I'll second the motion, yeah.
I'm going to request a roll call, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Viscara,
Yes.
Commissioner Stuyvesant. No. Commissioner Joseph,
No.
Vice Mayor Lama.
Yes,
The motion is a tie.
all right. Okay, so now it could come back April 17th, right?
Right, I mean, technically, it does fail. I mean, it doesn't
failed.
proceed forward, it's
Okay,
status quo.
the
so-
contract doesn't proceed forward.
But under the code, again, 7422I, I think it's I, yeah, I. No, sorry. Get you the right subsection. Yeah, I. It can come back at a subsequent meeting.
Which will be April.
April 17th. Okay, all right.
That's, yeah, that's, I guess, since the manager put it on, that would be up to the manager.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Thank
Can I ask what discussions might be with the library? It would be as to having the county build a new library? Would that be part of the discussion?
We will bring a library discussion item back for you so that you can direct me how you would like us to proceed with the renewal or not of the library.
Yes.
But I will bring that to
And
you.
at the same time, I'd like to have a discussion with Alan regarding the Alamo property again.
The, just for
could please look
clarification
into-
to the motion, the item that can come back is the actual Waypoint contract. That's what you all decide. That's the only thing that's been voted on today. Just so to be clear.
All right.
Vice Mayor, can we just state on the record that the meeting is adjourned?
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.